तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। humble prostrations to one and all present here. So from today onwards, we'll be discussing the topic on meditation. So the first question is, why should we meditate? For that, we need to have an understanding of the philosophy of Vedanta. What is Vedanta in essence? So what is the philosophy of Vedanta? So the essence of Vedanta is Aham Brahma Asmi. So what is my true nature? I am infinite, immortal, pure existence, pure consciousness. My nature is perfection absolute, bliss absolute. This is my nature. This is what Vedanta says. So naturally a question may come, if I am perfect, infinite, immortal, etc., then why is it that I am not experiencing it? So then, this concept is explained through a theory, and that theory is called identification theory. This identification theory has to be understood. So what is this theory? Sometimes it is called a superimposition theory also, adhyasa. So what is this theory? When entity A identifies with entity B, the properties of B appear to be the properties of A. When entity A identifies with entity B, the properties of B appear to be the properties of A. So this theory can be easily understood by an example. So we'll take up Pujya Gurudev's film theatre example. So we all have this experience of watching a movie in a theatre. So what do? First we enter into a dark room called theatre. So as the movie unfolds, what happens? We get absorbed into the movie. And as we get absorbed, the movie happenings become real happenings for me. The movie time, the movie characters, the movie story, I get absorbed into all that. Now the movie world is my world. And then let us say I identify with, say, hero. See the term used? Identification. I identify. Identify means what? Becoming one. Becoming one. And then what happens? Now whatever the hero goes through, I also go through. If the hero is miserable, who is miserable? I am miserable. If the hero is happy, I am happy. If the hero is worried, tensed, I am worried and tensed. Isn't it? Now, my own mind is not my control. Whatever happens there starts happening here. And now let us assume that a movie is a very tragic movie. Then what will happen? Sitting in the theatre, we cry and weep, isn't it? So what is the cause of all those sorrows? So we say the cause of all those sorrow is identification. So when entity A, I, identifies with entity B, who is the entity B? The hero. The properties of B, the hero, whatever he is going through, becomes as though it is my property. If sorrow is the property of the hero, that sorrow becomes mine. Right? Whatever that person goes through there, the same thing I go through. So what is the mistake which I have done, because of which I entered into the theatre as a master, but I degraded myself to the status of a slave? What is the mistake I have done? This mistake is called identification. So, in the theatre, if identification created the problem, what should be the solution for this problem? In the theatre I am crying and weeping, I want to put an end to my sorrow. What should I do? Identification created the problem, so the solution should be disidentification. If you have understood this much, you have understood the entire Vedanta. That's all. Only thing is, now you have to understand what are the two entities, A and B. So in the film theatre, if the sorrow has to go, you have to do disidentification. So Vedanta says, in real life also we have made the same mistake. That mistake which you have done in the film theatre. So what are the two entities which Vedanta talks of? The two entities are, one is consciousness, the other is matter. Two entities. Sometimes consciousness is called Brahman, then matter is called Maya. Sometimes consciousness is called Atma, then matter is called Anatma. See, they go in pairs, okay? Sometimes consciousness is called Purusha, then matter is called Prakriti. Sometimes consciousness is called Drik or Drashta, then matter is called Drishya. Sometimes consciousness is called Chaitanya, then matter is called Jada, inert. Sometimes consciousness is called Kshetrajna, then matter is called Kshetra. Sometimes consciousness is called Prana, then matter is called Rai. It doesn't matter what terms you use, basically only two things are there. One is consciousness, the other is matter. Now we have to understand what is this matter. What is matter? So we say anything made of 5 elements is matter. What are the 5 elements? Akasha, Vayu, then Agni, then Jala, then Prithvi. Yes. So these 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, 5 elements. Anything made of 5 elements is matter. So now let us see what all comes under the category of matter. The whole world that we see, what is it? It is made of 5 elements, so therefore it is matter. Come one step inside the physical body. What is it? This body is nourished by food. Food is nothing but matter, so therefore body is also matter. Come one more step inside. Mind, thoughts, mind, intellect, etc. What is that? Is it consciousness or is it matter? So you are all Vedantic students. So therefore I have no problem. But in anywhere else if I say, then all of them will say Swamiji is consciousness. So please understand, in medical terms, when they use consciousness, it is a property of the mind. He became unconscious. So there, it is actually they are talking of the state of mind. So in Vedantic terms, when we talk of consciousness, it has nothing to do with mind. Okay? So this mistake we should not commit. So mind is nothing but flow of thoughts. And what is the mind made of? Apanchikrita Panchamahabhutehi Kritam. So it is also Panchamahabhuta only. Subtle 5 elements. What is the proof that mind is also made of 5 elements? What is the proof? So one of the rishis proves it to the student by making him fast. Don't eat anything. So this poor fellow, this poor student, asked a question to the teacher. Oh teacher, is mind matter or consciousness? And the teacher said, go and fast for 15 days. Then what happened? He was a brilliant student. So he fasted 15th day. So he had all these Veda mantras, etc. by heart. 15th day he was not able to recollect it. So through direct experience, the teacher teaches the student a very fact that your mind is not functioning when there is no food shows that mind is nourished by food. Therefore, mind is also made of matter. So, body is made of matter, mind is made of matter. Now there is only one thing which is not made of matter, that is consciousness. And who is that consciousness? The scripture says that you are Tattvamasi. So what is our true nature? Consciousness is our true nature, which has nothing to do with matter. And what is the nature of consciousness? So we say it is Sat Chit Anand, or Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The nature of consciousness is such, it is Sat, existence, pure existence, independent existence, an existence which can never become non-existent. How can existence become non-existent? So this consciousness or the self or the I in us, so these are the different terms given. The I, the pure I, the real I in me. It is Sat, existence. So everything other than this consciousness, if at all it appears to exist, it is only borrowing existence from the self or consciousness. Sat. Everything else has only a dependent existence, borrowed existence. Sat also means truth, reality. So this is one thing which is absolutely real, Sat. Then comes Chit. Chit means consciousness, sentiency, that awareness in us, because of which we are conscious, we are aware. The knowing principle in us. What is the difference between knowing of consciousness and knowing of the mind? What is the difference? Knowing of the mind is thought-based knowing, whereas knowing of consciousness is pure knowing. It doesn't need thoughts to know. Knowing is its nature. So is it effortful or effortless? Anything when it becomes nature becomes effortless. Reflection of the mirror, is it effortful or effortless? Effortless. Burning of fire, is it effortful or effortless? Effortless. Anything that which is one's nature is effortless. So consciousness, it's knowing, is it effortful or effortless? Effortless. Wherever there is no effort, there is no energy spent. And wherever there is no energy spent, there is no tiredness. So when consciousness is knowing, is it getting tired? But if the mind is knowing, will it get tired? It will. And that is why, as you listen to talk in these morning hours, as the talk becomes subtler and subtler, little difficult, you doze off. Isn't it? Why, that itself shows that there is effort involved. So any mental knowing is effortful knowing. That's why we need rest. Okay, Sat, Chit, and the third one, Anand, again bliss. Is it effortful bliss or effortless bliss? It is nature, so it is effortless bliss. Okay. So this is the nature of consciousness. Now don't say consciousness something else. It is me. We are talking of this I in every one of us. So if you see the properties of this consciousness, the self, this I, it is all perfect. It is divine, sacred. There is no imperfection in this self. So then why is it that we are not experiencing this perfection in us? So apply that identification theory. What is the theory? When entity A identifies with entity B, the properties of B appear to be the properties of A. So the same mistake we have done. I, the pure consciousness, instead of identifying with consciousness, where is my identification? With the BMI, with the body. Now what will I experience? The perfections of consciousness or the imperfections of the body? What will I experience when I identify with the body? I will not experience the perfection of consciousness. I will only experience the imperfections of the BMI. Body, is it perfect or imperfect? Imperfect. Its power is limited, its existence is limited, everything is limited. What are the 6 modifications of this body? Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. First it exists in the womb of mother, asti, jayate, then it is born. Vardhate, it grows. Viparinamate, it matures. Apakshiyate, decays. Vinashyati, dies. This is the nature of the body. So when I identify with this body, what happens? The properties of this body, the modifications of this body, the limitations of this body, now I feel it is mine. So, the birth of the body is celebrated as birthday. The death of the body is grieved as we are not there, somebody else. Okay. So, all these modifications we celebrate. What is Vedanta? Vedanta says you have nothing to do with that. It is only because of identification. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuhyati. In the body you will find all these changes. Kaumaram, yauvanam, jara. The body is continuously changing, but am I changing? No. What is the proof that I am not changing? Who knows, maybe I am changing. So then we have this pratyabhijna concept, In my childhood, I have experienced certain things. So let us assume, in my childhood, I had a body B1, I had a mind M1, and I was aware with a consciousness C1. So what is the combination? B1, M1, C1. Now I am old. So what is this body? Old body, B2. Now with lot of experience, my mind also has changed, intellect has changed. Let us say M2. And now there is an awareness in me because of which I am aware of this old body and the mind. So C2. So B1, M1, C1, B2, M2, C2. Is B1 equal to B2? No. Childhood body is definitely different from my old body. So B1 is not equal to B2. Is M1 equal to M2? Mind also has changed. My childhood aspirations, imaginations, emotions, they have all changed with life and its experiences. A lot of maturity has come. So mind also has changed. So M1 is not equal to M2. What about C1 and C2? That entity because of which I was aware of my body and mind, C1. And now that entity, C2, because of which I am aware of this body, this old body, are they same? How do I know they are same? The very fact that today I am able to remember my past existence in my childhood body. The very fact that I am able to remember it shows that rememberer equal to experiencer. Experiencer of the past is same as the rememberer in the present. That experiencer in whose light the whole experience he was aware of. That very same light of consciousness, I am aware of the present happenings, old age happenings. So therefore we say C1 equal to C2. So that consciousness of the past is the same as consciousness in the present. It shows that consciousness is not undergoing any change in spite of bodily changes, in spite of emotional changes, in spite of intellectual changes. That means this awareness is remaining like a kuta. Kutastha. Kuta means what? Anvil. Anything coming in touch with the anvil, this black myth is beating into shape, but the anvil doesn't change. The substratum is not changing. That consciousness remains unchanged, body is continuously changing. So if this is what we understand, that with the change of the body, consciousness doesn't change, what should happen to consciousness when the body drops dead? What should happen? Nothing should happen, isn't it? Because consciousness has nothing to do with the changes of the body. Tatha dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatra na mukhyate. Wise people, their attention is upon this consciousness. And they come to know that this consciousness is actually birthless and deathless and changeless. Right. So what is the mistake we all have done? The mistake is, instead of identifying with this perfect consciousness, our identification is with the imperfect body. So what are we experiencing now? Perfection or imperfection? Imperfection, limitation, finitude. And from there comes all sorrows, all miseries. This is the source of all sorrow. So identification has created the sorrow. So what should be the solution? Disidentification. That's what Vedanta says. Can a person be happy remaining identified with the body? How much ever great that person may be, famous that person may be, powerful that person may be, intelligent that person may be. Can he be happy? Impossible. Because what is our desire? How much happiness do we crave for? Finite or infinite? Infinite. Why is it that we are naturally attracted towards infinite peace, joy, etc.? This natural attraction is there because our nature is infinite. That which is our nature, we will have automatic attraction for it. Are we attracted towards sorrow? Can we ever like sorrow? No. Why? We can never like sorrow because sorrow is not our nature. Anything which is not our nature, we cannot like it. Anything which is our nature, we like it. We want it. We want to possess it. So you'll find that every one of us in this world, we want to be happy. Where did this desire come from? Every one of us, we want to be secure, protected. Every one of us, we want to be alive, existent. We don't want to die. So all these desires, we all want to be famous. Why is it so? Famous means what? My name should be there everywhere, correct? Where is this desire coming from? I am infinite, therefore there is a desire for pervading everywhere. You see? So every desire, if you see, it is basically the desire for the self alone. Isn't it? Put in language of devotion, it is desire for God alone. The moment you replace self with God, then the language changes from knowledge to devotion. That's all. Bhakti marga, jnana marga, both are one and the same only. Right. So, consciousness is our nature. This consciousness is already perfect. You don't have to do anything. You are already perfect. But we have made a mistake. What is the mistake? Instead of identifying with this consciousness, my identification is with the body, and therefore I am going through all the miseries of the body, imperfections of the body. I am not happy with those imperfections. I am struggling to come out of this imperfection. And all the imperfection which I experience through this bodily identification is what is called as samsara. Samsaranam, change. When I identify with change, I think I am changing. This constant experience of change is called samsara. I am the changeless substratum, but because of my identification with a changing entity, I am experiencing change. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, they are all changes. Birth, death, old age, disease. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam. Constant change. Ashwatha. Tha, that which stays tomorrow. Tomorrow, Shwa means tomorrow. Tha means stay. Doesn't stay tomorrow. Constant change. Right. Are we happy with change? Especially if the change is degrading towards misery. If you ask this question, are you happy with change? Many will say, oh, yeah, you want change. But suppose I tell you, the change which ends in death, the change which ends in misery, then we don't want that change. In fact, you will always find that when there is change, you can't rest. Peaceful resting is not possible when there is change. You just observe yourself. How do you go to sleep? You first withdraw from the world. Then you close the door of your bedroom. See how you are trying to. Then you lie down. Body becomes changeless. Then you make your mind changeless. Withdraw from all activity. Isn't it? Only then you can go to sleep. So, permanent rest is not possible when everything is changing. So the topic of discussion is this. Actually speaking, we are perfect. But because of this identification with the body, now I am experiencing imperfection. So what does Vedanta say? Vedanta has only one message. Disidentify from what you are not. Identify with what you are. That's all. Exactly like in the film theater. You are crying and weeping because the hero is miserable. So then what are the options you have to come out of the misery? One option is pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, save that hero. That may or may not work. But there is one sure way. What is the way? Stop paying attention to the movie. Withdraw your attention from the movie. Then start paying attention to your real self. Look around. Everybody is there with a tissue paper, right? Take out your mobile phone. See the messages. Now what have you done? You have withdrawn from the movie. You are paying attention to the real world. Then what happens? With this disidentification, all the properties of the other entity stop influencing you. Isn't it? This is a fundamental of meditation. So why you should meditate? Meditation is nothing but this. Detach, attach. Detach from what you are not, attach to what you are. This is the fundamental of meditation. So, at the seat of meditation, what are you supposed to do? So when you sit with closed eyes, you will find two entities. What are the two entities? Number one, thoughts in the mind. Number two, consciousness, which is witnessing these thoughts. Two entities. Where should your attention be? Upon the thoughts or upon consciousness? Consciousness. But generally what happens? Thoughts come in the mind, and remember, it's not some thoughts coming, no. These thoughts have a logic. It doesn't come just like that. You will always find that wherever likes and dislikes are strong, thoughts will be regarding those things, beings and situations. This is science. They are not random thoughts. Those thoughts are associated with things, beings and situations. If you are attached to someone intensely, that person will come again and again in your mind. So at the seat of meditation, we have two entities. One is the witnessing consciousness, the other is witnessed thoughts. What am I supposed to do at the seat of meditation? Withdraw the attention from thoughts, because all these thoughts are worldly thoughts associated with the BMI. What I should do is, I should withdraw my attention from thoughts and pay attention to consciousness. Identifying with consciousness is nothing but paying attention to consciousness. Remember, this consciousness is none other than God. But a person who is totally attached to the world, will he be able to do this? No. So at the seat of meditation, what happens? Either this person will go to sleep, or this is called as laya. Laya means sleep. This is the first obstacle faced by the beginners in meditation. Laya, they go to sleep. And the second obstacle is called vikshepa. What is vikshepa? The thoughts are so powerful, so attractive, captivating, tempting, that my attention, without my knowledge, gets shifted to these thoughts and I become one with thoughts. That's why the beginners, they say, I was sitting for meditation and just I forgot that I was meditating. Some interesting thoughts came and I got carried away. You get carried away by the thoughts. Why are you getting carried away by the thoughts? It is because of your raga dvesha towards those thoughts. Wherever raga dvesha is there, you will not be able to remain rooted in the center, in that consciousness. It will just pull you out. It is like a person who is standing by the shore of a river, bank of a river, and is jumping into the river. What will happen? You are there to witness the river, and then unknowingly you jump into it. If you jump, will you be able to witness the river? You start flowing along with the river, isn't it? So this is what you have to do. Detach, attach. Detach from thoughts, attach to consciousness. Stop paying attention to thoughts. Stop showing interest in the thoughts. Be disinterested in whatever comes in the mind. Show attention, show interest only to consciousness. When you start paying attention more and more towards this consciousness, what happens is you start experiencing the properties of consciousness. What are the properties? Sat, Chit and Anand. So what is the sign? What is the proof that we are progressing in meditation? What is the proof that meditation is becoming successful? What is the proof? One of the sure proof is the intensity of Ananda starts increasing. There is more and more peace. Is it an unconscious peace or a conscious peace? If it is unconscious peace, that means you are sleeping. Because Ananda is always associated with Chit. Chit means consciousness, awareness. So there is a bliss and you are intensely aware of that bliss. If the bliss is happening unaware of yourself, because sometimes people come and say, Swamiji, meditation was excellent. I don't know why. After that, I was not aware, but I became fresh. That freshness is not a freshness of meditation. That freshness is out of sleep. Many times they ask this question, Swamiji, I don't know whether I have meditated or not. If you are not knowing whether you have meditated or not, is it jnana or ajnana? Ajnana. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma it is. So meditation has to happen in awareness. Bliss has to accompany awareness. You're consciously aware. So, this is all you need to do. I have explained the essence of all scriptures in this 1 hour. If you can do this, you need not know anything else. Know yourself, abide in that awareness, witnessing consciousness, and the matter is over. And you firmly abide in consciousness, you come to know everything is just an observed entity and you are the observer. Once you have thoroughly disidentified with the body, will there be a fear of death? So these are all the symptoms of ignorance. Fear of death. Where is it coming from? Actually, it is the body which is going to die. But now I am fully identified with it. So with this bodily identification, body's death is not body's death, it is my death. There is equal worry, anxiety, tension. They are all the symptoms of spiritual ignorance. But as you start doing this meditation, you come to know that there is another entity in me which has nothing to do with this body, which has nothing to do with my emotions, etc. There is a silent witness, unaffected by bodily changes, mental modifications. You intuitively feel it. The more and more you get identified with that entity in you, the more and more you become unaffected by the worldly ups and downs, sukha, dukkha, labha, nashta, mana, apamana. Satsangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve nischalatattvam nischalatatve jivan mukti. So with the satsang, what would happen? You slowly come to know a nischala tattvam in you. An entity which is nischala, changeless, imperishable entity. And then the job is to hold on to it. That's the whole of Nididhyasana. But if the mind is not pure, then you will never see these two entities. What are the two entities? Witnessed consciousness and witnessed thoughts and the witnessing consciousness. These two entities will not be seen if the mind is not prepared. So therefore, what should be the first step? Preparation of mind should be the first step. Prepare the mind, be qualified for meditation, meditate, realize, be free. So what that preparation of mind is, that we will take up tomorrow. Now for some time, 5 minutes, we'll just sit in silence, paying attention to the consciousness in us, watching our thoughts with total disinterest. We will chant Om 3 times first. Om. सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओं श्री